goodness gracious. There we go. There we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, good day. Great everything for everybody that is tuning in. I am cutting my devices off because I don't want them to ringy dingy, and we know they will. Some spam likely is going to hit me up. So hopefully I got everything in order. Thank everybody so much, whether you're watching this live or in replay. We are so thankful to be in a space where we're able to share our knowledge and expertise in the real estate market. Everyone deserves a place to call home, to create those wonderful memories like we had when we were growing up. We all went to our grandmother's house and the cousins and the friends. And I mean, everything just feels so much different now in this day and time. But we are the creators of life. So creating that neighborhood space, that home feeling, those walls full of laughter, are a goal and something that everyone deserves to have. My name is Makeba. I am a licensed real estate professional, a global real estate agent. I can help people in all 50 states and almost 30 countries. So I definitely love that aspect of the business that I'm in. Antwon, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good this evening. How you feeling?
I'm doing good. I made it. I made it.
Yes, we did. Long week, a few more days to the weekend, but no complaints.
For sure, for sure. Well, just so thankful to have you here. You have actually been a lender partner of mine since I officially became licensed in 2018. And thank you for being a resource to help me guide my clients, our clients, to the path of home ownership. So I just want to thank you. Give you your flowers. Give you your flowers. You take them right.
I appreciate it. I'll take them. Hey, listen, partnership is really important, especially when you have, like-minded individuals who, have a similar goal of really just spread knowledge and kind of helping the community. So connecting with, having a good team, having good partners is really is critical to your success in real estate and pretty much all walks of life. So I appreciate that feedback, and I'm glad to be a partner and a friend.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. And I see we have a few people that are tuning in with us. So if you can put in the chat where you are tuning in from, what city that you are planning to purchase your home in or sell your home in, and actually share that as well, if you are selling or buying. The first part of this presentation is going to be, hey, Dominique. The first part of this presentation is going to be about selling your home. A lot of people are in the position where it's time to upsize. It is time to downsize. They're needing to relocate because they have to move away, or you're getting a larger home because you're going to combine those generations, so that is a blessing to be able to be in a space and a mindset to make that happen. So thank you so much again for tuning in and for trusting us to be the real estate professionals to share that information with you. All righty, so let me see here. Let me go ahead and share my screen. And can you see? Can you see my screen, Antwon? Now you're muted. If you
I'm muted. Yeah, I was talking and I was muted. I just see you. I don't see your screen yet.
You don't? Okay, hold on. I have an external monitor connected, so maybe I might need to disconnect that. Let me see. One more again. Are you unmuted so you can respond to me fairly quickly? Do you see it now?
I'm unmuted, but not yet. I still just have
You
you
just
on.
me.
Just you, just good old you and your background. Yeah.
All right, all right. Well, I mean, sharing the screen. Okay, Mint Hill, North Carolina, we see you. Thank you so much for showing up, for sure. The information that we're going to share definitely is a resource, whether you're able to share my screen or not. I mean, this is like a conversation that we have all the time, and we want this to be conversational. So I am not going to fuss around with these slides, and we will just talk like we normally do. So the process of selling a home can be challenging, or it can be a smooth, easy breezy process. That's why you lean upon real estate professionals like us to point you in the right direction of creating that space of it being a smooth process. And when you are getting your home ready to sell, I like to suggest to my clients to make themselves the buyer, like see their home how the buyer is going to see their home, see their home how they are going to see others' home, because typically when you sell your home, you are moving into another one. So when you go into someone else's home, when someone comes into your home, we want it to be clean, definitely. We want it to be organized and arranged. The fact that we're already moving means that we should be packing up and getting our things out of the way. So boxes in attic space, boxes in basement, boxes in the garage, but decluttering is very important. So many people have been in homes for many years. They're not using things that they need to do away with, whether they're giving those things away or they're going to have a yard sale. The suggestion always is to declutter. Again, since you're packing and you're moving, we want to go ahead and make that happen in a smooth, seamless way. So when your people come, it doesn't look like there's just a bunch of stuff around. Like, people need to be able to see themselves in your home. And again, just like you want to be able to see yourself in someone else's home when you are looking to purchase it. So defining the goal or the timeline. Typically, we talk to clients as real estate professionals fairly early. So being able to plan ahead by making sure we're packing, making sure our documentation is in order. Definitely looking for another home as well while you're getting ready to sell your home. Doing research on the market, teaming up with a real estate professional like myself, like Joy, who is also here with us. And some people choose to have their home appraised, but typically the market dictates what your home is going to sell for. So myself and Joy, we have access to what goes on the market. So we use that information and we share that with our clients so we can say what the market is determining a home just like yours, just like your neighbors, just like somebody 2 streets over or 2 towns over would sell for, because we can see the statistics of how long homes have been sitting that were overpriced, homes that were priced perfectly, how quickly they went under contract. So that is very important as we are strategizing. So if we're looking in your home and, if someone magically gave you $35,000, $40,000, what would you do with that? Would you make some neutral tones of paint throughout the home? Do you need to do some upgrades to your deck? Maybe there's some damage to some flooring somewhere. So we want to make sure that we keep those things in mind if that is something that you're going to choose to do. I actually have a few partners that I work with who will come in and do the work, do those upgrades, the slight renovations or those really intense renovations to get your home ready for the market. And they wait to be paid at close. So that's another conversation that we have when we come and sit down with you as a seller. Do you want to sell your home as is? Because of course, as is, when someone comes in and they see that they need to do work with your home, typically they like to purchase your home for 65-70% of what the value would be after they made the repairs to your home. So we keep that in mind too. Is your home pristine? Is it updated, or does it need some repairs? And so if it does, we plan that in the timeline, we have that conversation, and we look at homes like yours again, or if you made the upgrades. And so you would determine that's an executive decision on your part to say, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and make these upgrades, because if I do, I spent $20,000 over here, but the statistics show if I do that, then I could potentially earn 50,000 on the back end, or whatever the numbers are, because it depends on what it is that you're going to spend your money on. Something that is very important as well when you are opening your home, opening your doors for people to come in, is the feng shui. How the flow of the furniture, the energy that is shared when people come in. Are they walking into your home to a couch right at the front door? How is the layout of your home? So typically we'll come in, if we're able to still use your furniture, if there's not a budget for having a stager to come in. And even if a stager comes in and arranges your own furniture, that could be very beneficial as well. Moving around some strategic pieces in the home to make it flow a little better. Again, rearranging furniture so the walk-in feels a little different. Like, those are very important things. Curb appeal. Wintertime is not as beautiful. And right now it is transitioning. This is the first day of spring. So springtime, the flowers are out. Hopefully your garden, if you have a garden, your trees are trimmed, whatever curb appeal you may have outside the home. The grass is cut, definitely. We've all seen overgrown grass, and that's not very welcoming. A welcome mat, that is something that we often share. There's different things that you can add to your home that won't hit you too hard in your pocket to make your home look a little more feasible and appealing to people. Something else that we invest in are professional photos. I wish you knew how, we do have nice cameras, yes, iPhones, Samsungs, whoever you're working with, but those are not the same as taking professional pictures. So I'm sure Dominique, definitely Joy, and please, I see that we have a few more people in the live. If you can go ahead and let us know where you are tuning in from so we can say hey. And thank you again for participating and taking this time out of your day to learn from professionals who are here to help you purchase your home, create a space for you to have those memories and fill those halls with laughter and love. And there's the pictures that I see online. Now it's different when when we have the home coming soon, when we're just sharing with the other real estate agents, hey, I have this home in Atlanta. The professional pictures will be coming soon, but this is a little snippet of what it looks like. And if you have a buyer now, bring it, and that would be cause for us to not even have to put the home on the market traditional way. So the coming soon is an opportunity as well to share your home with potential buyers. But for photos are very important. The lighting is very important. So your real estate professional, that is something that we have in our budget to be able to have a professional photographer come in and get the proper angles, the proper lighting, because that is the first sale. When we get someone's attention online to say, hey, I want to go see that home, that's the first thing that they see is the pictures. If the pictures are terrible, then they're just gonna, swipe left, or whichever way it go when you do them apps. when you reject it, whichever way that is, they're gonna pass by your house because your house was not clean. I've seen some stuff, y'all. Clean the house, and when a photographer comes, I'm there and I'm moving things because the eye sees things differently. So toilet seats down. Like, there's some very interesting things that go on in a home that I don't particularly like the homes that I am listing to look like. So I'm there, I'm opening blinds, I'm opening shades, I'm cutting on lights, I'm following the photographer around to make sure that we get the proper visual, because again, that is the first sale. We sell the house several times, and the imagery, Video, that is very important. And that goes hand in hand with marketing, because if the video, if the photography do not project the image that we want to get that perfect buyer for your home, then it's going to take longer. It's going to take more adjustments. The messaging is going to feel a little different than it would. There's going to be undue frustration when we can handle these things on a front end and make sure that we are sharing the right viewpoint for your home to your potential buyers. Hey, Simone, how are you doing? You are tuning in from Beaufort. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be a part of our evening. Simone is another wonderful professional, and we appreciate those of you who are tuning in and Simone invited you or Joy invited you. Please make sure that you reach back out to them when it is time to have that conversation about you moving forward with purchasing your home. Or if you are a seller as well, looking to sell your home and buy your next home. So pricing, again, pricing your home is important because we want to get the most amount of eyes on your home. So overpricing your home helps sell your neighbor's home. And that's not what we want to do. We want to sell your home. And selling your home takes significant amount of strategy. All of the things that I just mentioned prior to now are part of selling your home, are part of getting your home to the space of allowing you to walk away with the most money in the least amount of time. And pricing is very important. And pricing is something that is individual to each person. You know, you and your neighbor's home built the same time, closed on the same day. You or your neighbor could have your neighbor made some updates to the kitchen. You made updates to the master bedroom. Your neighbor has a deck that needs some repair, and yours you've been keeping up with. You've had your roof done. Your neighbor hasn't, So each of those things are very important when it comes to pricing. So managing your showing. So we have your house all up, ready to go. The curb appeal, the feng shui in the home is perfect. We've priced it perfectly. The photographer came out. Everything is out there. Now, how are we going to manage getting people in to see your home? So the showings are very important. Depending on what your agent has access to, that can be a barrier for agents to be allowed to come into the home, or it can be an open gate where people can freely come in a controlled space. So we have, I'm sure you've seen the construction worker lockbox on the doors. That's a way to get in. We also have the digital lockboxes. So if you only have the digital lockboxes on the door, that means people in brokerages who don't have access to the digital lockboxes, they're not able to get in. So that's something to be mindful of as well. Does your agent use both or one? One could be limiting. Both, we want to be able to open your home up. When the home is going live on the market, I like to put my homes on the market on Thursdays. And so I'm marketing the home Thursday, Friday, and the agent and their client cannot come into your home until the open house on Saturday or Sunday. And so we're building up the momentum to launch and share your home with the pretty new bow on the market at the open house on the weekend. I let the agents know, hey, my client will review offers on Tuesday. We've had the open house. Monday we'll review. Tuesday we'll reach out and let the agents know who have put in offers, what the next steps would be, whose offer would be accepted. And as a representative of you, the seller, I like to accept a backup offer. So after we've chosen an offer, after you have decided this is the person, the family that I am going to go ahead and start negotiating to sell my home to, I also like to approach one of the other agents' offers, the best one, that you determine this is first, this is second, this is third. I approach them and see if they would like to have the first right to have their offer accepted just in case something happens. And that is, I find, is very important. That is a resource that I have been able to use as a listing agent to represent the seller, and also on the buyer side. Sometimes the deal had fallen through, the transaction, for whatever the buyer decided to walk away. So my buyer client was able to come in and make the purchase. The same for my sellers, of course. If the buyer, for whatever reason, changed their mind, then we go ahead to the real estate professional who is handling and has a relationship with their buyer clients to go ahead and get that offer accepted, so we can continue with the flow and the plan that you have in mind. And so we evaluate the offer. Again, the negotiations are continuous, because after your home is under contract, after the earnest money is paid, we have due diligence. So due diligence is that time period where, for any reason, the buyer can change their mind. And so during the due diligence time, that's when the home inspections happen. If they need to have the HVAC serviced, or, I like for my clients to make sure that they have all their receipts together. When is the last time you had your furnace replaced, your septic tank taken care of? Have you had pest control come out? Like, all of that information is very important to have ready, because we're going to need it ready to allow for things to move smoothly, because this takes place in a short period of time. If someone is purchasing your home for cash, we're just waiting on title typically. So you can close on your home within a matter, definitely less than 21 days, 14 to 21 days. And if it's financing involved, it's typically 27 to 30 days. So this doesn't take long. So these timelines are very vital and important to make sure that we are staying on top of what it is that we're responsible for as we're getting your home ready to be purchased by someone else. Let's see, Dominique, when a property has an open house from 1 to 3, for instance, am I allowed to simply show up, or do I have to make an appointment? So to be able to control the flow of the showings of the homes, and this is the best time to have more flow and people feel welcomed in the house, is the open house. So you don't have to schedule an appointment during the open house. You can just freely come in. You let the agent that is in the home, they're going to ask you if you have a relationship with a real estate professional, whether that's a new construction home or one that is a resale. You let them know that you already have a real estate professional, because when we're there hosting those open houses, we are there to find more buyers to help and assist. So if you already have an agent that you're working with, you definitely share that information with them, and your agent's information is what you put on their contact sheet, or sometimes they have apps. So you just make sure that you plug your agent's info in. And that was a great question, Dominique. Thank you so much for asking that. And so after everything has been taken care of, the paperwork has been finalized, we'll continue to move forward. The buyer said, yes, I love everything about this house. We had a few things that we needed to negotiate. And as the seller, you are going to go ahead and have your professional contractor come out, show proof of repair, or whatever it was that needed to be taken care of. And all of those things are in place. And while all of this is going on, as you are buying another home, it's twofold, the things that you have going on. The buyer may still need a little more time to do this and that. So as extensions are coming, we're going to make sure that we review them, get the proper answers to the questions that are necessary, and go ahead and sign them to allow the home to continue to be sold, so you can move on to your next phase of life as well. And so after all of the documents are in place, everybody has signed and sealed and delivered almost to getting your home sold. Again, we're still negotiating, because typically when you're selling, you're buying. So we're making sure that those timelines and everything is being managed properly. You've done everything necessary, and Antwon has given that buyer the permission to go ahead and finish up their paperwork, their documentation, and we're going to get into more in depth this last half hour about the buyer side. But on the seller side, in this instance, a final walkthrough is necessary, which means you as a seller, you have all of your things outside of your home, in your storage unit, wherever they're going to go. Because typically if you're selling, again, you're buying. So what usually happens is you sell your home at 9 a.m. and at 2 p.m. you're buying your next one. So that means that your moving truck has your things in it and it's parked somewhere. Broom swept clean again is how your home needs to be, like you would like for your home that you're moving into to look. We do a final walkthrough, myself and you. I make sure that everything is up to par. And then the buyer's agent will come in later and they would do their final walkthrough to make sure that everything was good to go. We will go to the closing attorney and we would close on the selling of your home and get ready for the purchase of your next home. Antwon, did you have anything that you want to share? And did anyone have any questions that they want to share in the chat?
Yeah, so definitely I would just share, for my sellers, time is important and time is on your side if you get started early. So if you have thought about selling and you don't have a hard deadline, if you have a hard deadline, you want to start immediately with having that consultation with, with Makeba about what you want to accomplish from your home sale and when. The sooner you start, the sooner you start, the better. In my experience, when you're rushed or when you need to do something and you wait, it leaves a lot of room for missed opportunity. So if you think you want to sell your house this year, next year, it's great to start a conversation right away, understand the planning process, get a marketing strategy, get a full-blown plan for selling your home, and then you can kind of roll out a timeline for, hey, I want to be out of my house and sold by November. You start now, that gives you 5-6 months worth of time to, Makeba may say something like, hey, you need to replace the roof. And you weren't planning on doing that. And that might be an expense that you weren't aware of. But if you start today, you have 4 or 5 months to, handle that financial expenses plus all your normal bills, etc. So the sooner you start, the better. And the same goes with if you are planning on buying another property, that same applies to financing, right? So if you decided you want to sell your home and you know that your next step is buying another property, the sooner you do an application, the sooner you get your finances reviewed and analyzed, the sooner you understand what your options are, as well as knowing and understanding, how much you're qualified for, what the payments are, how much money you'll need, taking that information back to Makeba and saying, hey, listen, Antwon told me I could spend, $400,000. I want to live in a skyrise condo in Buckhead at the top of the most fanciest condo. What can I do? And then Makeba's going to say, okay, here, look, these are the condos that you can afford in that budget. And then you will understand, hey, is this going to work for me? Do I need to find a way to increase my budget or, find a different strategy on where I want to stay, etc. But the more time you have, the more opportunity it gives you to be better prepared, to take your time with the process, to open doors to more options for you as far as maximizing your profit on the sale of your home, because you can take some time maybe to do some of those improvements and or same with your financing, understanding that, hey, listen, if I do a couple things to my credit, I pay a few things off, pay some things down, instead of me getting, my condo in Midtown, I can get my condo in Buckhead or vice versa, depending on where you want to be. So that's really, that's, and then also understanding that things change, the market shifts, financing changes a lot. So, when you bought your home 2 years ago, today's prices, today's interest rates, the cost of home insurance, a lot of those things have changed. The process of getting it qualified, an application and the process, it's 70-80% the same, but it's that, 20 to 30% that looks a little different from when you bought the last home that could make a difference in how you should proceed. So the sooner you speak with myself about financing your next home, the sooner you speak to Makeba about getting your home on the market, the earlier we are able to plan with you, strategize with you, and kind of walk you through start to finish on, selling your house for top dollar and also maximizing your budget in terms of where you want to, relocate your family to. So start early, start early and get a plan going is my recommendation.
Thank you. We love a good plan, especially when you execute it. Look,
Mm-hmm.
a plan with no steps, you kind of just I don't know, just a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm. And
And
I'll
go ahead.
add this too. As you're going through the process and getting ready, definitely, you have your sphere of influence, people you trust and you love. But when it comes time to talk real estate, you know, my mother bought a house 15, 20 years ago. Well, not my mother, but if your mother bought a house 15, 20 years ago out on the West Coast, what she's paid for her house back then is going to look a little different. If somebody bought a house in the height of COVID, the interest rates, what they are, it's not the same. So definitely, leverage your relationships, the people you trust, your trusted circle of influence, but definitely talk to somebody like Makeba, who's living real estate in today's world, daily. Talk to a lending professional who, I look at 10, 20 credit reports every day. And, because things change so much, information from just a year ago may not really be relevant in today's market.
Definitely. Thank you. I appreciate you. I see we have a few more people in the room. If you want to drop in the chat where you are tuning in from. And again, for those of you who are watching on the replay, thank you for coming. We hope that this is going to be a great resource for you moving forward. Antwon and I will share our contact information. It will also be inside of the description of the YouTube description itself, so you can reach out on a later time. And so we're going to go ahead and move into the buyer's side of this journey. Most sellers, again, are combining your household, moving somewhere differently, and this is a twofold experience, definitely, in the management of making it all happen in as smooth as a process as possible. Again, like Antwon was sharing, people who want to share their experience with you. And the thing about life, everybody has their own experience. I mean, so many things could be exactly the same, but it only takes one nanosecond of time to change something for that to be different for you and I. Antwon, look what I did. It's working. You muted. I fixed it.
I see you. Yeah. You got your presentation up. I see
I
it.
remember what to do. I remember.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. Well, so this is the home buying process on the path to home ownership. This again is the American dream. We hear one of the many dreams that many of us have. As we talk to people, they're often sharing with us how much they're paying per month in rent. But we also hear the interest rate is high. But due to the fact that you are paying the landlord of the apartment that you're living in, of the home that you're staying in, they're getting 100% interest. None of what you're paying them will ever benefit you, period, point blank, ever, not a day in life. So making those necessary sacrifices to be able to qualify for buying a home. And the great thing about purchasing a home is the fact that there are programs to help you buy your home. There aren't programs to help you rent someone else's home. There's negotiation to be had with the owners of the homes that we're looking to purchase or put in an offer on. And it just feels different to say, I own this. And so preparing your finances. And of course, I put this here because if your finances are not prepared, then there's no way to move forward. But Antwon is going to speak a little more in depth and detail later. I'm just going to kind of breeze through this because it's very important. It's the first step. Like when you wake up in the morning, brushing your teeth and washing your face are the first things that you do. Of course, you got to get out of bed first, and put your clothes on before you leave. But he's going to speak about that a little later, about the down payment piece, your debt to income ratio, creating a budget. And just for me to share the fact that most of us are living in a space where the money that you earn is paying for the lifestyle that you're living. So if you need to save for something, that typically means you need to cut your expenses. That typically means you might need to get a side hustle or two. Cut your expenses, get a side hustle or two, get you a good old sugar mama or sugar daddy. I don't know how you gonna come up with the money, even if it's mattress money. That needs to be accounted for, and you got to figure that piece out. If you do have some mattress money that magically fell off of a tree that can't be accounted for, we just want to make sure that you have that in the bank so that Antwon doesn't see that you put it in the bank yesterday and now you magically have some money. We want that money to be deposited in a bank and sitting for, I'm going to say 60 days. Antwon will let you know the right number, but it's called, we want it seasoned so we don't have to source it. Well, the source would be your savings, but we won't know who gave you the money. And it's so funny because being in this industry as long as I have and as Antwon has, people with assets that need cash go pawn things like big ticket items so they can get the cash. And they know the flow of this. So they make sure that whatever it was that they pawned or, however they got that money, they don't just put it in a bank like I said yesterday. They go put it in a bank a few months prior after that money needed to be shown to whoever needed to be shown for them to be able to move forward with whatever that big ticket transaction is. Then they go get their item back. So, that's like a trick to the trade that some people aren't aware of, but, using those tools and resources out there to the best of our ability to make sure that we're setting ourselves up for success is vital. Antwon, do you want to speak about the pre-approval process since your face is back into place?
Yeah. I was just going to jump in when you were talking about the deposits.
Okay.
And that's absolutely correct. We are, depending on what loan program you're doing, standardized, we'll need somewhere between 1 and 3 months worth of bank statements. Okay. On those statements, we are looking for, we're looking for deposits. So, anything that's non-payroll deposited into your account is subject to documentation and sourcing or verifying where the money came from. So, again, if you do have cash on hand, you got the old school. I take money out the bank and I put it in the house because I know if it's in my account, I'm going to swipe the card, I'm going to spend it. But if I store it away in the house where I can't really get to it when I'm outside doing all of the fun things, at some point we have to get that put into the account because our underwriter is going to ask, where the funds came from. If we can't create a paper trail for it, it's almost like we don't have it. We can't use it. So, so definitely that's really important. And yeah, so I can, talk about the pre-approval process. Definitely, this talks about shopping around. And so it's good to really talk to your lender, have a conversation about what you're looking for and what what your goals are. Of course, if you talk to somebody like Makeba, she has myself, she has other lending partners too, because there are some lenders that have programs that I can't do. You might need something that's a little bit special and I don't offer it. And then there's a lot of programs that I offer that another lender doesn't. So in your consultation with Makeba, your real estate professional, they may understand your situation and they may say, okay, hey, look, based on what I know, Antwon is the person for you to talk to. And then at that point, we'll get the application process going to evaluate your options. But it really starts with an application. 99% applications are done online, whether that's from your phone, your tablet, or your computer. You're gonna, we're looking for 2 years worth of employment history, 2 years worth of address history. We want to know your income, your assets in terms of funds you have available. And that gives us a good starting point for evaluating what options may exist. Now, there's a ton of documentation that may be required. It's going to be a little bit different depending on what type of income and what type of employment you have. But for the most part, we're typically looking for, 2 years of income history documented and supported by, either your tax returns or your W-2s, depending on, what type of income you have. But you do an application, you get your documents and your info submitted, then we'll follow up and let you know what additional details may be needed. But once we just, go over your documents and information, we will provide you with the, pre-approval. When I send out my pre-approvals, they will include all of the vital information that you may want to know. Now, you will get a wonderful spreadsheet that itemizes pretty much every cost associated with the purchase. But the things I like to ensure that you know are, hey, look, here is your budget. So this is how much you qualify for, or this is your purchase price. Here is what the interest rate would be today if we were locking it in. Interest rates change daily. So, if we look at a rate today, you buy a house 2 weeks later, 2 days later, the rate could have moved up a little, down a little. It could stay the same. But at the time of pre-approval, you'll know how much you qualify for. You'll know what an interest rate looks like. You'll know what a monthly payment is for that particular price point. And you'll also know what monthly payments you can expect. So a lot of times we have an idea, hey, I want to spend no more than $1,800 a month. And you want to spend $1,800 a month, and you're looking at $500,000 homes, and payment for a $500,000 home might not line up with your $1,800 payment desire. So, I like to, have the conversation about what budget, what payment is comfortable for you. And then, I'll provide you with what you qualify for, but I'll also let you know what your maximum spending budget is, as well as what payment or what price point you need to stay in to keep within your comfortable payment level. And then once you get that letter, you carry it over to Makeba and say, hey, Antwon told me I could spend $1 million. I only want to spend $500,000. What can I buy in my penthouse in Buckhead in the heart of the city?
It won't be that. Look, because they have that astronomical association fee. We got to pay them. Keep that in mind as we're out looking. So it all depends on what we're looking for. But having a team member like Antwon, he's going to run those numbers for you. And after he shares the information, and typically it's a little wiggle room in there. Antwon will let me know. She can actually, so we talked, so if she says that she wants to be like George and Wheezy, she can be now. But have a safe word, because I like to have a safe word, you guys, while we're out looking for homes. Antwon, were you finished? I'm sorry.
Yeah, this process, depending on if you have a really straightforward application, if you have a straightforward application and your documents are straightforward, and what I mean by that is, hey, look, I've been on my job for 5 years. I have a salary. I don't have I'm not working on commission. I'm not working on bonus. I'm not working on overtime. I hadn't changed jobs 10 times in the last couple, months. Your credit report looks, standard. What I mean by that is just, not a ton of information that's questionable, meaning you got some ton of disputes, or, you have some stuff on there and you're like, oh, that doesn't belong to me. But if your, situation is straightforward, you should be able to get a pre-approval, within a business day or two. Shouldn't really take that long. But if you are, hey, look, I'm relocating from California with my job. My new job starts, in 2 months. My pay, I'm not really sure how my pay is going to be affected because they got a cost of living difference between here and there. So I'm waiting on an offer letter Oh, and all my credit reports are frozen. So I know you tried to pull them, but then it may take a little bit more time, or hey, look, I'm self-employed. I've been self-employed for the last 5 years. I hadn't filed taxes for 3 years. It might take a little bit longer. We're going to work with you and get you to where you need to be. But everybody's situation is different. So, the timeline can vary based on the intricacies of your scenario. But, a straightforward process, a day or two, you should have an idea of what your spending power is. If I'm not waiting on employment verification, or I'm not waiting on documents to be submitted, and I have everything in hand, it's really easy to get you an idea of what your options are. Yeah.
And thank you so much. Again, we are here as a resource, and we can only do what you allow us to do. And when I say allow us to do, is you have to provide everything to Antwon so he can do his part. This is like hundreds of thousands of dollars that are going to be loaned to you. So, you might feel like, I provided that. Why are they asking me for this? Well, when our cousins or friends want to borrow some money, we giving them the same, rigmarole as hundreds of $1,000 mortgage looks like. So just be mindful of that. And you don't purchase a home that often. I mean, it used to be like every 7 to 10 years, and now it's increased 10 or more years. But of course, this is going to be very detailed, and there's some information that is needed, actually a lot of information that is needed, and just be prepared. This is the time to have the conversation about those things that are necessary, and so we are the resources definitely to make that happen. And oh, that's me. A different hair color, not as big. I still have those earrings and that dress. That's me. So choosing an agent is also important. We have Simone on the line. We have Joy on the line, myself. So whatever real estate professional that you choose, when you're speaking to them, just knowing that they're coming to you at a space of being a resource. So be as honest as you can as possible with your situation. Because again, like Antwon and myself have shared, everybody's situation is specific to themselves. After Antwon has given us that magic pre-approval letter, ta-da, we know exactly what it is that you can qualify for. And like you mentioned, that comfortable mortgage and payment is most important in everything. You might qualify for that $1 million home, like Antwon said, but $50,000, $50,000, $500,000 is your comfortable mortgage payment. That's where you want to be, so you can still travel and see the world and eat out and buy those, ride in the cars and the shoes and have your foo-foo dog, and what lifestyle you want to still be able to have outside of your home. We don't want you to be house poor. So we're going to focus on that comfortable mortgage payment while we're out looking for a home. Needs versus wants or must-haves are so vital. I need a home that is one level because my mother stays with me and she can't do stairs, is different than I want to be in a home that has, a fireplace. You want a fireplace. You don't have to have a fireplace, but you want one. I want my home to have white cabinets. You don't have to. You want it. The difference between something that you want and must have, and a fireplace was not a good example, because something that you want, something that you must have, would take a contractor to come in and give it to you. A 3-car garage, you must have that. You want a home with a fence, but it doesn't have a fence, but you could have somebody come later and put a fence in. You want to have a home that, I don't know. I mean, it's so many things available for people to choose and want and have, because you could have a deck installed later. So those things that are must-haves, it's going to take some sort of thousands of dollars to make happen in the future. Those are things that we're keeping in mind when we're looking for your home. Things that you want are totally different. The flooring, I want luxury vinyl when I go into the house, but the house is perfect and they have the ugliest carpet ever. The carpet, we don't want that to be a barrier from you getting the home, because that is something that you can repair, fix, change, update, upgrade later. So we're making an offer on the home. We have found the home. Oh my God, this is it. Even though I hate this ugly shag, alpaca, green and purple carpet, but it has everything else that I need. I'm gonna put an offer in on it. So we're negotiating. We're making the offer. The price is what we put the price in for. The contingencies are things that we're going to need to happen to make this make sense to us. Now, we're not going to ask them unless, I mean, sometimes they might put in a concession for getting this carpet repaired because they know they were wrong. Not wrong. You know, they know that the house is dated, and so they have an allowance for the carpet, you know, but you can ask for anything. But when you put the offer in, you want your offer to look rock solid, because we honestly don't want to ask for anything until after the home inspector comes in, because we want him to come in with his third party eye, non-biased. He's there. Home inspections are not anything that you have to have. The home inspection is something that we highly suggest because their area of expertise is something beyond our realm or scope of professionalism. They're going to come in and evaluate things that we wouldn't even know to look at. And it's an investment that is definitely necessary, because after the home inspector comes in, then they give us an inspection report. And that's when we come in and start asking for things. We want that offer to be clean. The only thing that might be on the offer when I'm writing it is they didn't include the community association disclosure. They didn't include the lead-based paint form. They didn't include the seller's property. Just like those things for us to have a complete offer weren't there. So that's the only thing I'm asking for. I'm not asking for anything because I want this offer accepted. Once the offer is accepted, then the door is open for us to negotiate. So after the home inspector comes in and he has a list full of stuff, and I promise he will, as a seller, you're like, oh my God, I've been living in this house for 20 years. Like, I could walk up these stairs and there was no problem with, but his job is to come in. He's working for his client, you the buyer, and he is to share with them everything that he sees that is no longer up to code, or, you know, this could be improved. There should have been some updates here. This is not functioning properly. Like, he's looking at all of those things. So it's going to be a list. And I tell my clients it's a honey-do list of things that can be done later. We're asking the seller for big ticket items. Does his roof need to be replaced? When was the last time the septic tank was serviced? You know, this air is not blowing like it should in the house. We need to have somebody from an air conditioning company come look. So those are those big ticket items that we're asking. And a lot of times the listing agent wants to see the home inspection, and is yours. You paid for it. But we do want to allow them to see it if you want to allow them to see it. But again, it is yours, and we would like for, you know, sometimes clients don't like it to be shared. I suggest that we do share so they can see exactly what it is that we're asking for. And so we're negotiating for the repairs. There was 52 things on there. We're just going to ask for 5. And so the seller agrees to all 5. So now we are working on the terminology, the timeline to get these things fixed before closing, because Antwon is not going to allow us to close until these things are fixed, because that was part of the contract. So Antwon has already spoken to us about getting our documents in place, making sure that you are continuing to, you know, because it takes time. So now Antwon is going to need an updated pay stub, you know, so we're going to provide that. Maybe they need another bank statement, so you're going to provide that. And these many things are going in the background while you're continuing on the process of purchasing your home. We're still negotiating and getting things done with the owner of the home. Antwon is still doing his work to make sure that you have everything necessary to be able to purchase the home. So after everything is said and done, the homeowner has purchased anything necessary to make the repairs, paid for things, got his receipts in order, her receipts in order, and they've shared those with us. You have seen them. Everything is done. We go in. Antwon is going to come and give you your estimated closing costs, so you can see how much money you need to bring to the closing. You are going to wire those funds over to the closing attorney. We are going to do our final walkthrough after the seller of the house has removed all of their items. The listing agent hopefully has done their part and they went with their client through the home. So when we get to the home, it is broom swept clean. That is the terminology in the contract. The house is ready to go. Everything is cool. Everything they said that they were going to do has been done and complete. And usually I like to schedule that the day before or the day of. I like for my closings to be scheduled midday, 12 or 1 o'clock, because I like to go do the final walkthrough that day. And then so everything is cool, because if it's not, we got to make a phone call. I'm calling the listing agent. Hey, your client, whatever they didn't complete, their stuff is still here. They need to come get it. I had somebody leave 4 tires in a storage room behind the stairs in the back, and I was like, why are these tires here? And the agent talked to her client, and the man said, well, the last owner of the house that I bought it from 22 years ago, they left the tires there. And I was like, well, I'll leave them there. No. I need your client to go get these tires. And they did. That's an example of making sure that your client's house is broom swept. We opening doors, we're looking at things, we're looking under things, we're looking above things. Like, we're making sure that your house is exactly what it needs to be when you move in. And so again, everything is cool. We've made it to, we got the closing scheduled. Everybody's looking good, because we, social media, honey, we taking pictures and video if you allow it. If not, I still want to take pictures and video. I'm just going to, put one of them little smiley faces over you so people can't see you, but I'm still celebrating. This is a short-term goal, a relationship that we set together as a client and a buyer of a home, and we celebrate. You might not want, because there's times when people are, folks aren't like us that want to share all of their business online. So they don't want everybody to know that they just bought a house, which is cool, So I'm respecting what it is that you are desiring. So if you choose to still allow me to take a picture of you and cover your face up with a smiley face, I'm down for whatever. I appreciate you choosing me as your real estate professional to help you achieve this short-term goal of home ownership. We are in the place, in the building, depending on what office we're in. We have snacks. We might have some bubbly, some wine. You might choose to have a Coca-Cola and a Snicker, Twix or something on the table, depending on how the attorney's office is set up. Celebration is just the fact that you are getting your keys and you are now a homeowner. And I just want to thank you, of course, for allowing myself and Antwon to help be your guide through this process. Again, those of you that are live, and whether you are going to watch this on replay in the future, you can grab Antwon or my contact information in the description. Antwon, is there anything you would like to say before we leave? And does anybody have any questions for us? As we know, the government is making a lot of changes, whether we understand them or not. There's only so many things that we can control. We can control the fact that we need somewhere to live. We can control the fact that if we're choosing to buy a home, townhouse, condo, wherever it is that you are choosing to call HOME, if you need to stop spending, please do. If you need to get another job or two, please do. Because again, that money that you're paying to a landlord doesn't benefit you. And this first home that you're buying, Antwon and I want this to be your first investment property. Right, Antwon? This is just a stepping stone. Generational wealth is what we're focusing on, and you have to start somewhere.
Yeah, definitely start where you are. Your first home it's usually not your dream home, and it's usually not your last home, but it is your entryway into home ownership and building wealth through equity. And um, as you start the journey, 2 to 5 years down the road, life might change, and it might be time to move into that next property. And perhaps you want to call Makeba to sell it. Perhaps you want to call me to say, hey, I want to buy a second home. What can I do in terms of qualifying? And we can help you strategize on, hey, let's figure out how we can qualify for a second home, but also leverage the current home that you have as rental property, as a source of rental income to help along with your primary employment to qualify for your next property. So, really, there's so many options, especially from a first-time buyers. There's programs designed to help with down payment. There's assistance available. There's so many different avenues that can help. And when you come and speak to me, that is, a part of me being a resource for you is letting you know that, hey, listen, here's 3 to 5 programs that you can use if, depending on where you want to live, what state, what city, your income level, et cetera. There's programs designed to really help make home ownership obtainable. And, we can kind of guide you through those various options. So, definitely contact information is on the screen. We look forward to opportunity to have a conversation, guide you through selling your home, qualifying for your next home, qualifying for your first home, even buying that investment property wherever you're, I have some people that don't own a home and their first home is an investment property. So everybody's strategy and entryway and go into real estate is different. Some areas where there's a lot of multifamily, their first home is an investment property because they'll buy a duplex or a triplex or quad, and they're living in one unit, renting out the others. And it's their first home, their first time buyer, but they're also a first time investor all rolled in one because of, buying a multifamily. So a lot of options and a lot of ways to enter into the market. And I see a message here. My client is doing exactly what you advised her to take care of her credit, and I appreciate the help. Oh, absolutely. Sometimes I look at credit, it's not where it needs to be, but because I can see everything on the report, I'm able to say, hey, look, here's three things you can do to get from where you are to where you need to be. And really, how fast the process goes is typically as fast as you can move. Of course, we have to wait to the company's report and update things. But, if you take the feedback and implement it right away, if you're not in position to move forward right away, you could be a month away. You could be 2 months away from, qualifying or being where you need to be. So connecting with us and getting that advice is really critical. So, but yeah, that's all I got, Makeba, unless you got something else you want to.
Well, no, I mean, the thing about it is Antwon or myself are not the ones that has this money. And so when the money runs out, what happens, Antwon?
We got to go find them. We got to go find some more. It's a lot. It's a lot out here. So it's a lot of money flowing. And, my goal is to give away as much of it as I can. I can't use it because it's not mine, but I want to make sure that, you guys can take it and run with it. So.
Definitely. So no money down, 100% financing. We're still paying closing costs, and a lot of that is negotiable. The seller can take care of that if we ask them to. Negotiation is key when we are dealing with things in this matter. I mean, it's just the nature of it, and it has been for years. And the only way that you will know what the possibilities are, instead of guessing, instead of leaning on relatives or family or friends or the internet, is to reach out to a professional like myself or like Antwon. We are here to help you. We are in these real estate streets, not just watching it. So definitely reach out to us, for those who are viewing, this the next step is for you to reach out. Antwon knows where the magic money lies and how or if you can qualify for it. And once he determines and you guys have that conversation about what your comfortable mortgage payment looks like, then I have the permission for us to go ahead and ride out, open those doors so we can help you with that dream coming true. What the theme music at, Antwon? I thought you was in control this time.
Well, listen, you got options. I can sing, rap, or beatbox. So you pick, and then I'll jump in there. I don't promise it's gonna sound good, but I'll do it. So
Thank you, everybody, so much. We will be here again the third Thursday of April. We thank you for tuning in. And it's different every time, man. It's like it's like a show. You never know. We showing up. We don't know what the energy gonna look like or feel like, but we appreciate you sharing our energy with you and you sharing your energy with us. And have a wonderful rest of your evening. And we will see you on the next time.